feel like Showgirls made me gay. I genuinely do. Like, I feel like when I was like really little, I accidentally stumbled upon it on HBO late night. And it's just such a homoerotic ass movie. Like, it really doesn't have a good plot and it's all over the place, but it's such a terrible, good ass movie. And it's so gay, although they're also definitely boys the whole time. That whole shit with Nomi and the other lady, that's gay. The Renaissance tour. Yeah. It was insane. I just remember sitting there and being like genuinely mind blown, and also having this really crazy realization of like, we only get these type of people once in like every blue moon. Like it's very rare that we experience this, and even anybody that comes after this woman has learned from her, is a piece of her, and essentially a seed of what she's planted. So she's that one of one that like maybe comes from that seed planted of like Michael Jackson that like only has trickled down very specifically, you know. And I was having that whole thing as I'm also just trying to like enjoy the music and like enjoy the show, but I'm literally sitting there also like, there's only one Beyonce, this is so crazy. And I cried for sure. We are. Absolutely. I think all earth signs are too stubborn. I fully think like it would be stubborn of me to say we're not stubborn. I know we're stubborn, and it's just this hopeful pipeline that Tauruses go from being stubborn about the wrong things to learning they can stand their ground about what they believe in and they feel without having to fight everything that comes their way. I think people are losing their ever-loving minds.
How about the fans that summoned you?
To the woods! You know what's funny is I can't decide if that was real. Like, I can't decide if they did that, if they filmed that before I went, or if they went back and added that clip. Either way, it's so gay and it's so hilarious, and it was some of the best shit I ever seen, especially because like it was a random event and a random night. Like I was in town. I think it was Wednesday. I was in town. I was like, you know what's cracking on Wednesdays in Brooklyn? Okay. And I had went before once, and it was like a whole thing. Like, in Brooklyn, Twitter exploded. Like, Kehlani's at the Woods. And I was like, because I do go to a lot of bars. Like, I be at Happy Fun Hideaway, super low key, just like go in, do my little drunk business and leave. So I didn't really expect it to be a big deal, but I kind of forget that like who I am with the gays sometimes.
Kehlani at Woods Wednesday is not gonna be low key.
Yeah, so that was a thing, but it was so fun. My favorite thing was like walking in and seeing people realize it was me and like making the same crazy face back at them, like, but I had a good time. It depends, man. I'm really two completely different people. Like, and that's something I feel like people will take away from this album too. I'm a lot of different people. Sometimes I want nothing to do with anyone, nothing to do, just shh. And other times I'm like, wow, this is the perfect night to have the craziest night of all time. And sometimes I think those nights win more often than the other ones, but yeah, I'd say right now my ratio is probably more going out than staying in, for sure. This is about to sound so treacherous, but my comfort movie is El Cantante, and it is such a sad movie, and I don't know why, but I love that movie, and I watch it when I'm sad. My comfort TV show, oh my God, I watch really bad TV, but right now it's The Resident. I feel like they had something to prove against Grey's Anatomy, and since I've ran Grey's Anatomy back way too many times, there was The Resident, so there I'm at. I like Alex. I would say Alex is my favorite Grey's character, because it worked in waves. There were some times I really hated Alex, and then by the end of it, I was like, wow, I love you and I'm gonna miss you, and we all missed him, and the way they wrote him off was super insane and sad, and it's definitely Izzy for life. But yeah, and then I'm going with George.
R.I.P.
You know?
My first car was named Karev, so I feel that.
Wow, let's go! Oh man, don't get face tattoos. And I say that as someone with a face tattoo, with multiple face tattoos. I shift a lot with what I'm into and like how I want to look and how often that changes, especially becoming a mother. And I just reached that point sometimes where I'm like, no matter how I feel, I look like this. And I feel like it's the things that our parents tell us too, like you're gonna get covered in tattoos and you're gonna regret them, but it's not necessarily that you're always gonna regret that you have art on your skin or that you won't resonate. I resonate with every piece that I put on my body, the message behind them, but it's the fact that I can't chameleon how I look. And then that affects how I dress and how I feel and how I show up in certain spaces and things like that. So I would just say, just leave your face alone, maybe leave your neck alone, and just save your bread for good artists, because I've got some shitty ones and I'm gotta go through a lot to fix them. I think my favorite song is Lose My Wife, because there was so many people in the room just talking, and then these melodies just started popping out of nowhere, and then the song just came to life. I actually had a sinus infection, and it was 4 in the morning when I recorded that song, but it could never be duplicated. There were so many songs on the album that I re-recorded and I did over and over again and went back in on the vocals, but it's the one song that's exactly the same from the very first time we made it, and it's consistent. You know, acting really makes me nervous as hell. I don't think I'm one of those people that likes it, and here I go putting the shit out into the world that I'll probably never act, but I genuinely like being behind the camera more than I like being in front of the camera. Like, even now it's weird, and I'm weird every time I have to look at it. I actually got on the L Word because I asked to shadow the director, and then they called me back and said they had a part for me, and at first I was like, fuck no, and then I was like, I can't be a lesbian, and then one day my kid is like randomly watching ancient ass L Word, and I'm like, yeah, they offered me a part, and I said no, that's not cool. I'm not gonna lie, that Billie Eilish album is so good. Woo, that Birds of a Feather song makes you wanna just like run around in circles. I also like Tommy, what's his name? It's everywhere. $1 Million Baby. It's infectious. I also, hey, Tinashe. Man, I really struggle, because if it was up to me, I would go to nothing but lesbian stuff. 1, there isn't many, and 2, it's me. And I don't think I've established enough of the like, hey y'all, I just wanna like be chill when I come here, without people being like, we don't care what you want. It just gets turned real fast. I definitely went out during Pride to WeHo, and it wasn't a lesbian bar, but it was a lot of lesbians in there. And like the things people say to me, the things people say to me with their partner, without their partner, in reference to their partner, it's just, it gets a little turned, and sometimes I get a little scared. Lesbians is crazy. They be trying to freak me. They be trying to take me home. I'm like, hey y'all, gotta go. Don't know, I get all shy. Pretty girls still make me nervous. I'm just like, got a blast, don't know, but here we are.